You know, it's interesting when you're up here and you're not used to being up here, and I've done this quite a few times. We don't know where to sit. We don't know who is going to speak next, and so just hope it works out, and God takes care of us. I have a unique opportunity this morning to introduce one of our lay speakers, and my role in the Clarksville District is the coordinator of the lay speakers. And one of our jobs is to go out to other churches when the preachers are unable to be there, or even if they are there and they invite us to come, and to deliver a message. And to be prepared to do that, we go through 2 training classes, a total of about 12 or 14 hours of training. We have to practice and deliver our sermons in class and do a lot of other things, but it's very rewarding, and it's something, as many of you know, that I've done for a long time. Not too long ago, Jim Stevens stopped me one day leaving church, and he said, "I want to go to lay speaker training." And you know, usually we don't get that direct a request. Usually we're recruiting a little bit or whatever, and so he did. And he finished his training, and he has the opportunity this morning to speak here at his home church. I know Jim has been teaching Sunday school here for a long time. He's not a stranger to us, but we will welcome him to the pulpit here after I read the scripture. The scripture this morning comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 27. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. And then from 2 Corinthians 12, chapter 10, we find, that is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.
Okay, let me do this twice around. My name is Jim Stevens. And those of you that don't know me, one of these days you will, because I'm talked about enough. I joined this church about 8 years ago at the urging of my wife. Urging wives are urging, as you well know. She had visited here a few times and come home telling me what a great place this was, what wonderful people were here, and she named Gene Bryant. He was so wonderful to her. I began attending and was soon asked to join the Founders Sunday School class. Once I got involved in the class, I thought, what have I been missing by not attending Sunday school and church? Because these people in that class were so wonderful that it just made me, I went home and just kept wondering, what am I doing? What was I thinking not going to church? Well, I was thinking of Jim. That's who I was thinking of. And what does this breed when you don't go to church? It breeds an atheist or an agnostic at the most. I have a little joke here I got off the internet I'd like to read you this morning. There's a little old Christian lady living next door to an atheist. Every morning the lady comes out onto her porch and shouts, "Praise the Lord." She does this every morning with the same result. The atheist next door yells back, "There is no God." As time goes by, the lady runs into financial difficulties and has trouble buying food. She goes out into the porch and asks God for help with groceries. Then says, again, "Praise the Lord." The next morning she goes out on the porch and says, there's the groceries she asked for. And of course she says, "Praise the Lord." The atheist jumps out from behind a bush and says, "Ha! I bought those groceries. There is no God." The old lady looks at him and smiles and she shouts, "Praise the Lord." Not only did you provide for me, Lord, you made Satan pay for the groceries. At the time I joined the Sunday school class, there was a lovely lady in there named Tiny Jones. She was a beautiful lady, lovely, gracious, Southern type lady, was one of the class teachers. As the Sunday went on, it was apparent that Miss Tiny Jones was hoping to quit teaching. She said she had done it for so many years, and it was a time for someone else to step up. And of course, she was looking straight at me. One Sunday, she asked if I could substitute for a while. The substitute part quickly became permanent. I co-taught in that class with Mr. Ed Strong for a time. Excuse me. Then we added Beverly Cook as a third teacher. And sometime later, in the days that I was serving with the United States Navy, this was known as being shanghaied, because something has become permanent. Anybody don't know what Shanghai means? Back in the 19th and 20th century, early 20th century, they needed sailors to go on this trip from San Francisco to Shanghai, China. What they would do, they would let some of the men imbibe in adult beverages too much, and as soon as they passed out, they'd go through a trap door around a little boat, and they'd take them out, and the guy'd wake up the next morning well on his way to sea. So that's what I mean by Shanghai. Not long after I began this teaching in the class, Skip asked me to fill in for him in Uffelman's Bible study. Old Easy Money agreed. Again, that became permanent. And after many years, I'm still there. Again, I feel like that sailor that was shanghaied, because I've had it ever since. But don't get me wrong, I am not complaining. I am explaining who I am, and I'm proud to be here to speak to you folks. Somehow I have felt that Jesus called my name to teach the gospel, not only in Sunday school, but from the pulpit as well. So I attended lay speaker classes. And here I am, and proud to be here as a member of our church. Now, all this volunteering and stuff like this, my wife thinks I'm a little off-center. Throughout his ministry here on earth, Jesus seemed to always pick his apostles from uneducated, down-to-earth working people, the following being exceptions. Let me tell you about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Matthew was a tax collector whom the people despised, left his occupation to follow Jesus. Matthew died in Ethiopia from a sword wound. Along comes Mark, was a fellow teacher of Barnabas, spread the gospel of Jesus. He was dragged by horses through the streets of Alexandria, Egypt, until he was dead. Luke was a man with a scientific mind and carefully compiled facts about Jesus Christ. He was hanged in Greece as a result of his preaching the gospel. John, the disciple whom Jesus loved, brother of James, during a wave of persecution in Rome, he survived being boiled in oil. By a miracle, he survived only to be sentenced to the island of Patmos. He was later freed to serve as a bishop in Turkey. He died as an old man, the only apostle to die peacefully. Perhaps this is a reminder to us that our sufferings here are indeed minor compared to the intense persecution, and cruelty faced by the apostles and disciples during their lifetime for the sake of our faith. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he who endureth to the end shall be saved. Matthew 10:22. The apostles mentioned, or the proof that Jesus did live among us as a perfect human. Prior to the crucifixion, was raised from the dead and ascended into heaven. From the fall of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden to the events in our own day, all human history sheds light on the ultimate need of the human race. The need to be made righteous before a holy God. Beginning with the promise in Genesis 3:15, the seed would crush the serpent's head, and ending with a promise in Malachi 4:2 that the Son of Righteousness would come. God has revealed to man, and particularly to the nation of Israel, that he would meet the ultimate need of man through his servant, the Messiah. The ultimate question, what is life all about? Is putting our faith in God, obeying his word, receiving the completion of our faith, and enjoying him forever. I'm sure that many of us Jesus called did not feel adequate to the task, did not believe they had the knowledge or the ability, questioned the idea of giving up all they had known in their life for a life filled with unknowns. Maybe God is calling you to serve in some capacity about which you have doubts. Have no fear. God doesn't make mistakes, and he will always come to your aid if you call on him. If God is calling, you need to step out in faith. Now, I like this cliche. If coming to church makes you a Christian, then standing in a garage will make you a car. We have to make sacrifices for our fellow man. I am so thankful that the Lord led me up to this pulpit. With a little time, I will polish up my demeanor here and hope to preach a much better lesson than I preached this morning, but I'm a newbie. Thank you.